All right, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. You're welcome to the Power Fact Space with Mr. Peter Obi on the building. Thank you guys for joining us. If you're just joining us, it is the Power Fact Space, and if you are not in tune with us, it is his third episode of his space with us on the platform, and hopefully it's going to be an interactive conversation with him. It's good to have you in the building, sir, already. So I see all of you requesting for the mic. Please, guys, we will try and make this space as interactive as possible. We're trying to make sure that everybody comes in here and have a time to engage with His Excellency Mr. Peter Obi. But to have this space today, I have an amazing, beautiful set of ladies up here that will be hosting and co-hosting the space. And I will just do the honors of passing the mic right about now to Pearls to do the honors of hosting the space. Pearls, you have the space. Good evening. Miss Pearls, you're not audible. We cannot hear you. Is a feedback from my side. Please, Arewachik, Gloria, can anybody confirm? Bolanle, can you confirm if you can hear me?
I
Yes,
can hear you.
I can hear you. I think Miss Pearls is maybe probably having network issues.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to this space. My name is Pels, a patriotic Nigerian who believes in the vision for a new Nigeria. I apologize. I was trying to unmute myself and it was just having a little glitch. I am a nursing practitioner and a public health expert. I have been looking forward to this space and with His Excellency, and there are hundreds of thousands of people all across the world who have been looking forward to this space as well. And we are streaming live on other platforms as well: Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. I will be the main anchor for today, and we have some very amazing ladies who will be co-hosting with me. We have Mrs. Bolanle, we have Arewachik, and we have Gloria. Shortly, I'll pass the mic over to them for a brief introduction. But before then, I would like to welcome everybody once again to this very wonderful space from all across the world. We have Nigerians cut across various political parties, from Labour, from PDP, from APC, and other political parties as well. Also, our international community who joined us here today, who aren't Nigerians, you are all welcome to this space. Now, let's get the co hosts to briefly introduce themselves. I'll start with Mrs. Bolanle. Hi, Mrs. Bolanle, how are you doing today?
Good evening, pals. I'm doing okay. Yes, my name is Balanle Eniabata Anibaba. I'm a Lagosian and a woman Nigerian. I am a child protection social worker and a business management consultant. I'm so glad to be here today. Thank you.
Thanks for being here. Let's have Arewachik.
Hi everyone. Good evening. My name is Hawa.
Arewachik is not here. Let's go over to Gloria. Hi, Gloria.
Yeah.
No, we can
She
hear
is.
Arewachik.
She's actually
I can see her now. Arewachik, how are you doing? My apologies.
Doing very fine, Miss Pearls. Good evening, everyone. It's been a pleasure being amongst you all. My name is Hawa. I'm a formulator, an esthetician, and a farmer at the same time. I'm a serial entrepreneur. It's a great privilege to be here together with the People's President, and I'm looking forward to an interactive session with the People's President. Welcome, sir. Thank you.
okay. Let me just introduce myself. Hello, everybody. I am Gloria Ayo with Parallel Facts. And if you're not familiar with this line,
thank you very much, Arewachik. Now let's have Gloria. Hi, Gloria.
Hi, everyone. I'm Gloria Ayo with Parallel Facts. Like I was saying, if you're not familiar with this line, then you need to follow us on all Parallel Facts pages. but I digress. I am a broadcaster with a vast experience in radio and TV presenting. And I also am a content creator. I focus on digital content. And I'm currently the head of broadcast the head of broadcast at Parallel Facts. And I'm extremely excited to be here today. Thank you all for joining us. I think we're having some connectivity issues. Can you hear us, Miss Pearl?
Okay, thank you very much, Gloria. Right now, I'll pass the mic over to Parallel Facts to do us the honors of introducing His Excellency. Over to you.
All right, guys. Good evening. One more time. If you're just joining us, this is Peter Obi live on Parallel Facts, and we have His Excellency himself in the building with us. I don't think he needs more introduction. Everybody know who he is, the People's President, former Governor of Anambra State, Mr. Peter Obi. It is a pleasure having you one more time, sir, on the platform. Thank you for keeping to your words. I don't know, sir, if you would love to do us the honors by just briefly giving us a brief submission, probably reminding people we have people from all walks of life, people from across the world listening to us right now that probably somebody don't know you. If you could just do us the honor of giving us a brief little submission of yourself, and if you can also test the mic, let us know that you can listen to us and you can hear us. Please unmute and speak, sir.
Hello, can you hear me?
Perfectly, sir. Good evening. How are you doing today, sir?
Okay, you're hearing me. Well, good evening, everybody. Let me very respectfully welcome the wonderful ladies that are co-hosting today, Claire Bolanle, Ariwa Chik, and Gloria. Most sincerely, thank all of you for being part of this. And for all that are participating, I would say thank you and welcome. I can't wait to have this interactive section with everybody where we'll honestly discuss about various issues affecting us. But thank you. First, I have to apologize that it's been a while that we haven't been able to talk because there were a number of issues here and there. But as we go along, you will get to understand why this delay and how we will get on doing it as we go on in the future. But thank you. Let me allow the program to go on.
Very much, Your Excellency. It's a great pleasure to have you here today. So, ladies and gentlemen, days ago we made a request for people to post their questions they would like to ask His Excellency here today. And from those questions, we're able to glean and curate some which we will be asking here today. I and my co host will take turns asking some of those questions while also taking a few more live from the timeline, after which we'll open the floor for people to ask their questions live. So let's set the ball rolling. Your Excellency, my first question is, how will electoral and judicial reforms be pushed through in light of Labour Party's presence in the National Assembly? And what is Labour Party's legislative agenda? And what is your own role in monitoring this? Thank you.
Oh, this one is a tough one. Well, let me thank you for your issue of change with regards to the area where you mentioned what is Labour Party agenda, legislative agenda. Quite frankly, all I can say is that I'm beginning to talk with the legislators who are from Labour Party to discuss and agree on areas, what we need to do to ensure that this our democracy is sustainable in terms of doing the right things, making sure that we always stand on the path of right things. But as you know, it is a bit difficult considering that Labour is just in the Senate, it's just about 7 of them. In the lower house, there's just about 30 something, considering the number of the ruling party and the main opposition party. However, I believe that now they're through with all their court cases and everything. We will be talking more to see how we can stand on what is most important and beneficial to Nigerians, to the people. And that has been my preaching to them. And in our last 2 meetings, I believe it went very well. Even when it is difficult, but it's going on, we're going in the right direction. And I believe it will continue to push. Labour will be able to have their own legislative agenda that will be for the benefit of people. On the electoral reforms, like I said, most Nigerians have been seeing now that whatever we have been able to achieve with the last reforms did not in any way impact on the election, because it's as if all those achievements were thrown away with all that happened with the elections. I assure you, we're not just only us on that one, most Nigerians are.
Okay. Thank you very much, Your Excellency, for that very wonderful response. So
I think there's some connectivity issue. Can you hear us, Ms. Pearls? Okay. Maybe Mrs. Bolanle, can you go ahead with your question, please?
Yeah, sure. Your Excellency, I know as per your traditions during this time of the year, you're probably getting ready to spend time at one of the many IDP camps in our country. What should be done to resettle our fellow Nigerians who have been stuck in these camps with no government support and no plans to better their situation?
Well, quite frankly, it's a very regrettable position that Nigerians should live in a refugee camp in their own country when we're not at war. It is very, very regrettable. And I said it when we were campaigning. If we had opportunity, we would have aggressively tried to resettle them. We would have aggressively tried to care more about them and everything. Because when I visited most of them last year, all they wanted to hear is that they will go back to their community. That is the most important thing to them. And I think this is where government should concentrate. And that is why I've been on the forefront of criticizing government priorities. Because our priority today should be how to care for those that are suffering. Those in IDP camp, the poor ones who don't know where the next meal will come from. That should be our concentration today, not on trying to see that those who are already living well are even getting more, when millions of people don't know where the next meal will come from. So for me, it is to continue to push through the various agencies of government by advocacy that these people needs to go back. Luckily, someone like Ireti, who went with me to 2 camps last year, is not a senator. So she will continue to push. We'll discuss all this. This is time you now have opportunity to talk about these people. So that's what we should be doing.
Okay, thank you very much, Your Excellency, for your response. I'll pass the mic over now to Arewachik for her question.
All right, thank you very much, Ms. Bells. And my question today is the FCT minister said that contract for VP's house was awarded in 2010 by President Jonathan's government at the cost of 7 billion naira, and the project was abandoned. That the present government only want to continue to complete the project at revalued cost of 15 billion naira. What is your take on this, sir? And in reference to, let's make reference to especially the budget that was put out there for newspapers for different government parastatals. What's your take, sir? Thank you.
Well, that issue of the VP's house has been one in which have been called names by people, by the VP himself and by the minister, that I'm talking nonsense because I criticized it and I remain totally where on my stand that it is not a priority. It is totally not a priority. You see, I agree it was awarded in 2009, 2010 by Jonathan's government. But what makes a responsible government is that at the time you assume office, you should be able to listen to the people. Governance should be demand-driven. Listen to the people, look at the needs of the people, prioritize the needs of the people. In this prioritization, you may have to abandon what has already been started, looking at the priorities that you need to tackle as quickly as possible. In 2009, 2010, when that project was started, things were not as bad as it is today. If you recall, I'll give you an example. In 2009, 2010, a bag of rice is 7,000, 7,500. Today is 60,000. So you have it 8 times worse. And remember, people's salary have not changed. It's a similar salary within this period. And then you have a situation where they have had 8 times increase just using bag of rice. A loaf of bread in 2009, 2010 is between 100 to 150 naira. Today, a loaf of bread for 400 gram is 1,000 naira. So you could see the change. Transport, if you're going from, say, Lagos to Abuja or Onitsha, where I live, to Abuja, in 2010, you're going to be paying about 10,000. Today, you're talking about 20-something. So everything, if you're those who can afford to fly, it was 15,000 then. Now it's 100-something thousand. So things have changed drastically. In 2009, I bought buses. Nissan buses that I gave, innocent buses that just in 2010, I bought them about 5 million naira. Today, those buses are selling for something, 50 million naira. So this has changed drastically. We have less than 70 million Nigerians living in poverty in 2009, 2010. Today, Nigerians that live under poverty, World Bank I just reported a few days ago, is 104. Multidimensional poverty have increased to about 140 something. I can go on and on. You can't compare that time and today. Things has gotten worse. There's critical areas. Our inflation have moved from below, from a single digit to now, we're almost hitting 30 something because prices of food have gone up drastically. Unemployment in 2009 was about between 10-12%. Today, you have unemployment hitting almost 40. You can see the situation you find yourself. Our GDP per capita have collapsed. Comparably in 2009, 2010, we were better than, we were at par with countries like Vietnam, even Indonesia, Bangladesh was below us, Philippines. But today they've also passed us. Things has gotten worse. So you have to look at your priority, reorganize your priority. You don't go and start doing things that you used to do when you have privilege of eating a buffet, when you have very tiny money to just buy yourself a very basic a la carte. So you go for it. We cannot be talking about building a new house now for somebody who already have a house or renovating a house, like it's in various budgets where we're renovating houses, not even in Abuja, in Lagos, in this and that and that. You don't need that. If a president or vice president of Nigeria visits Enugu, Lagos, anywhere, for God's sake, if there's no place for him, he will stay in a hotel. When President Obama travels President Biden travels from Washington to New York, he stays in a hotel. If he travels to Washington, to LA, Los Angeles, he stays in a hotel. If he goes to Atlanta, he stays in a hotel. We must not have building everywhere. After how many times do they go there? So if they go there, if they don't see any place to stay, they stay in a hotel for a few days. All these billions we have now should be invested in critical areas of development, which is, number one, health. Number two, education. Number three, pulling people out of poverty. Imagine what 15 billion naira can do to improve our primary health care. Imagine what 15 billion naira can do if you give it to National Hospital to invest in their equipment. Imagine what you would do if you share it to our major teaching hospitals of Zaria, Ibadan, Enugu, all. So there's so many things we can use it to do that is important now. Imagine what it can do in our area of education, basic education. Imagine what you can do if you decide to use it to pull people out of poverty by investing it in SMEs. There's so much you can achieve with that. And that is why I said, no, not now. We don't need it now. We can use this for something else that will go a long way in helping the nation. That is my understand by it. You should reprioritize it. I have been in that situation. When I became governor of Anambra State, go ask anybody. We have a big, I think Governor Soludo is trying to complete it now. We have a major project which is supposed to be governor's lodge, government office, everything. When they brought it to me, I said, listen, we can't embark on this for now. We have critical things to do. I recall telling somebody, because within 1 month I became governor, Nigerian Legal Council shut down our faculty of law in our state university. And I recall telling somebody, look at it now, our faculty of law is shut down, and you're talking about going to continue building that lodge. Now, since there's none available, I'm going to renovate what is there presently, renovate the office that is there presently, and go ahead aggressively and see that all these facilities are there. I built that faculty of law, which again will require improvements as time go on. I built it under 1 year just to make sure that those students were not thrown out of school. And there's so many other things that was happening then that we needed to do. We needed to do some critical things, including opening up rural areas so farmers can sell their goods at a better price and everything. Than going to talk about accommodation, renovation, and buying vehicles. So that's what my criticism. And there's so many other items like that in the budget, which, like I said, I'm taking the budget one after the other.
Okay, thank you very much, Your Excellency. Before we proceed, I would like to appeal to everyone here. Please do well to share this space on your various social media platforms, Facebook, Instagram, everywhere you belong. Do well to share this space. The more, the merrier. Let's get more people in here. So I'll pass the mic over now to Gloria to ask her question.
Thank you very much, Ms. Pearls, and thank you, Your Excellency, for addressing the elephant in the room. We all know about the drastic changes in the economy. It's no secret that Nigeria is currently grappling with a series of unprecedented economic challenges. Now, some experts have even stated and claimed that Nigeria is on the brink of bankruptcy. If you were in the position of the president, what strategies would you have implemented to navigate these difficulties, Your Excellency?
But even the present government said they inherited bankruptcy. So it's not just some experts. Everybody have agreed that we're bankrupt, and everybody knows we're bankrupt. If you're going to use almost 100% of your revenue to service debts, what else you need to know that you're bankrupt? First is that a bankrupt person has to behave like a bankrupt person. And the first thing you do is to cut your costs. You cut your cost. You do things that shows responsibility of going through difficulty. The way we're going today is not the way somebody who is bankrupt or near bankrupt should be going. I've said it repeatedly. The cost of governance in Nigeria is criminal. There's too much waste. Those wastes have to be cut off. And you've seen me complaining it, whether it's going to United Nations or going to COP in Dubai or doing this. All these things people think is it. I'm saying this because I practice it at a lower level, subnational level, where you have difficulties that you have to manage your resources more efficiently. Ensure that you invest more in productive area in order to be able to manage your situation. Today we're borrowing money. A country in 2007, when President Obasanjo became president in 1999, Nigeria was owing about $29 billion. By the time he left, we were down to below $2 billion. Today, our dollar debt is about 47 billion. And then you have, by the time you add the local currency, we now have almost 100 billion debts in our hand. And we're borrowing more. And you're borrowing this money. The reason why all this borrowed money is not giving us problem is because we didn't invest it. We didn't put it into critical development areas. It was for consumption. So for me, the first thing to do is to apply the brakes on this consumption completely and focus on ensuring that all borrowed money are used in critical areas of development that is productive, that will impact on growth. Because that's the only way you can start turning things around in order to be able to generate more revenue, service these debts, reduce it, and everything. So for me, first is that we have to cut aggressively cost of governance.
Okay, thank you very much, Your Excellency. Gloria, can we have one more question from the timeline?
Absolutely. Now, prior to the 2023 elections, we know there was an unprecedented surge of adrenaline among the youth in Nigeria and even throughout Africa. And this marked a significant impact on the political landscape. However, post elections, there's been a noticeable shift towards voter apathy, despondency, and disillusionment. And this brings me to a question from somebody in the audience at Lord Tyrion 4. He's asking, Dear Peter Obi, how are you going to revive and sustain the interest of first-time young voters in the electoral process given the last elections? What do you expect obedience to do? Are you setting up a system to sustain and build momentum?
Thank you very much. What I'm doing, let me just say it. I wish this is something where I'm speaking to them in video and everybody can see me. And it's just to say to them, I'm kneeling down and begging you, don't get disillusioned. That's what they want to achieve. What they want to achieve is that we get disillusioned and walk away, and they'll be happy. We will continue with what we're able to achieve. In no time, we'll dismantle this criminality. We will be worse off for it. The monies your country is borrowing today, you are the one going to pay it. Most of us who are borrowing it are in their 70s and 80s. If you look at bonds Nigeria is issuing, there are bonds that will be payable 2046, 2048, 2050, 2060 something. None of us will be there. So this is a time from what you have achieved. This is time for us to stay together, sacrifice more. If I tell you personally what I go through, you will say to me, why do you want to continue this? Every single day, I'm going through one form of harassment, intimidation, everything. But I say to anybody who cares, no, there's no way we can abandon this. We must, for the sake of you, the young ones, for the sake of our children, for the sake of humanity, please, I'm kneeling and I'm begging you, we will stay together until we dismantle this criminality. Nigeria can be one of the greatest country on the surface of the earth, just like it's all over Africa. But it cannot continue with the leadership we found ourselves today, where people do not care. There's no other country where you have over 50% of its population living in poverty and its leaders are still behaving as if things are normal. We're in a crisis situation. So do not walk away. Let's stay together. Of course, for me, be rest assured, I'm committed to it, and I will be moving around. We've started talking now. I said that beginning next year, we'll move around, say thank you to people, find people where they are, be able to say thank you, and be able to encourage them. I know the journey is difficult. I know that we are starved. I know that we're everything, but please, let's continue.
Thank you very much, Your
Thank you
Excellency.
very much, Your Excellency. So, guys, before we proceed, I would like to make an appeal again. Please and please and please, we have almost 7,000 people here, over 6,000 people actually. Please do well to retweet this space right now. Let's get more people in here. Retweet, and retweet the space and share the link to other social media platforms you belong. Thank you, guys. Please retweet the space. Your Excellency, thank you very much for all your wonderful response to the questions. My next question has to do with labor. So, how do you intend to reform Labour Party? Because right now it just feels like Labour is like every other political party. So, people feel like the old order needs to be dismantled and a reform needs to take place. So, how do you intend to do this? Thank you.
Well, let me tell you on issue of labor. Labor Party are not directly in control or running Labor Party. I'm just a member of Labor Party like every other person is. Like every other person is. Like every other person is. I'm just a member of Labor Party. I'm not. I'm not running Labor. I'm not the chairman. I'm not a member of a national working committee. So I don't even have a vote within Labour Party. I've seen people who said, I've seen people who said Labour Party that if Peter Obi cannot manage Labour Party, how can he manage Nigeria? And I said to them, I'm not in charge of Labour Party. I'm not the chairman of Labour Party. I'm just a member. It has nothing to do with issue of my office. If I'm the president of Nigeria or governor, or like when I became governor, I was in charge. I was able to say, these are my commissioners, these are the things that I want to do. And I went on and did them. In Labour Party, I don't have that type of power. Everything that happens in Labour Party is done by the managers of Labour, which includes the chairman and his team. But let me tell you, and I'm appealing to people, Labour Party is not our problem. I have passed through party. When I joined APGA, when I was governor, nobody knew anything about APGA. It was just a small party. When we were in court, we had a problem. People were saying the same thing. If Peter Obi cannot deal with APGA, how can he manage? If he cannot unite people in APGA who are quarreling, if he cannot solve it, how is he going to govern Anambra State? When I became governor, it was a totally different show. APGA was not the problem. It became Peter Obi managing. For example, if today I was in government, Labour will not tell me how to cut costs. They will not tell me, they will not say, oh, we're going to pursue this policy in education. They will say no. If I say we're going to do this to put people out, they're not going to say no. So these are the direct responsibility that would have been able to be achieved if I had succeeded. If Labour would not stop it, APGA did not stop me from investing, returning school to the original owner. They didn't stop me from doing what I did, cutting costs of governance, saying that nobody should travel with me, nobody should do this, we're not going to buy a bulletproof car, we're not going to. APGA was not involved. So it is same thing that would have been happening if I decide to travel to to go to, say, United Nations conference with 5 people, Labour is not going to say no. If I decide to go to COP in Dubai with 5 people, Labour is not going to say no. So when people mix up these two things, Labour was a vehicle we all belong. It is an ongoing thing. It is good to reform it, and that is being preached every day. To understand, that this is Labour is not a new party we formed. It is a party that has been there for years with its own distance, and you cannot remove it that it has some similarity with the existing ones. Yes, it is. But if we had succeeded, you would have seen different things. Change comes from a little number of people. If you look at when we are campaigning, you could see faces that are not traditionally partisan. The likes of Atedo side, the likes of Pastor Tommy, Aisha Yusuf, all these people. So it was like bringing people who have like minds and saying, if we succeed, we would have been reforming the country, reforming labor, reforming everything. But like it is an ongoing process. But I don't want a situation where people think, that we must fix labor now in order to get to where we're going. It is all the same ongoing process. Where it is people, a lot of people who supported us, who are obedient, who believed in what we are doing, we're not members of Labour. We're just trying to attract them to enter Labour. And again, if all of us enter Labour Party and everything, we'll be able to again change that situation. I've seen people say, Labour is not winning local elections, and because it's not winning local elections, how is he going to win national one? How is he going to do this? Let me be honest with you. I've urged people to vote the best candidates in any party where they are, to best the best candidate. And I've always said Labour management, NWC, you must try to have the best candidates in your primary. I, Peter, cannot control it. If we go to, say, Anambra State, where I am from, to choose who will be our gubernatorial candidate, I have only one vote. I cannot say it will be this person or this person. If we go to Nasarawa State, I don't even have a vote. So you can only talk to people, say, let's elect the best candidate. But that does not in any way say that because we don't have a good candidate, say, in Nasarawa or in Sokoto and everything, that Peter Obi will not be able to do the right thing as president, or people should not vote for him. The purpose of the idea of democracy, like it happens in every other country, is that for every election, you look at who is the best candidate for the election, and you vote for the person. When I was governor of Anambra State, I governed with 30 members of House of Assembly that were not from my party. Local government people, when I started, were not from my party. Eventually, they became, because our names they became appointees. But when they were there, when I came, they were not from my party. But I worked with them. The House of Assembly people, I worked with them. And I achieved the results we achieved. And the same thing, if I have 36 governors today who are not from Labour, and I'm the president, I can tell you, I won't even notice them. The programs will unleash. They will be working hard to join. Because by the time the people see what we're doing, which I continue to say, they will join. That's what happened in Anambra State. The House of Assembly people joined when they saw initially there was a few disagreements, which even led to my impeachment. But when they saw what I was doing, everybody, in fact, they became my apostles. If you ask them, I recall one of the prominent PDP governors asking PDP speaker and everything. I said, how come 30 of you will always agree with Peter? He said, until you come near and see what this man is doing, you cannot but just agree with him. So it is the same thing that is happening here. I'm saying let us remain focused on our goal, which is to ensure that the right leadership and the right things are done in our country, Nigeria.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency. So, guys, before we proceed, I'm going to appeal again. Let's keep retweeting this space and sharing as much as possible to other social media platforms you belong. Also, remember to ask your questions using the hashtag Peter Obi on Parallel Facts. Only questions asked using this hashtag will be asked. Only questions posted using this hashtag will be asked here. Moving on, I'll pass the mic over to Ms. Bolanle for her question.
Your Excellency, thank you so much. I'm enjoying your answers. This question I'm going to ask is around the COP 2023 agenda. Right, so bearing in mind that Nigeria has not experienced the industrialization seen in the West, and knowing that our economy is driven by cottage industry and SMEs, is the push towards a zero carbon future by the West to the detriment of economies like ours?
Well, I've answered a lot when I was campaigning and said all this will be negotiated based on our need and our development. We can't just go along with the West that have had an development that we have not achieved, that have put their people out of poverty, that are below 5% unemployment, when we know that the resources or the avenues we need to do that still needs to be developed and will not be achieved if we go along with the agreement. But that needs to be something that we must bring to the table for people to see what we're doing. China and all this wasn't going along with them before. Today, they are doing very well and are beginning to be part of it because they could see the impact it's having on their own environment. We haven't reached there. We need to do something more. So for me, it would be something we need to be negotiating as we go along to be able to suit us, to be able to fight and improve our situation, which is non-critical. We cannot talk about people are hungry, people need food, people need job, people need this. All this, as we do that, we'll be able to say, well, listen, we agree with what you're saying, but we need to do this in order to get this. We need to do this while managing what will still make our own environment and the global environment better. We have to also be able to do the things that will make us exist.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency. Please, guys, again, I'm going to appeal. We have over 7,000 people here, which is great. The number here is very great, but unfortunately, we have less than 1,000 retweets. That's not fair. So please do well to retweet this space. Retweet as much as possible. Thank you very much. So I'll pass the mic over now to Gloria for her question. Thank
Thank
you.
you very, very much, Miss Pearls. And yes, please, guys, let's retweet the space. Let's share. Let's not keep this space to ourselves. Come on now, let everybody know that Peter Obi is here with us. It's not every day we get this honor. Your Excellency, We know you're extremely popular. I'm talking global level popular. Yet there have been misconceptions about you and your political platform. For instance, considerable discussion regarding your financial dealings have come up, specifically allegations that you invested Anambra dollars in Fidelity Bank and even in your brewery. There have been allegations that you profited from these investments. Could you please clarify these claims and provide your perspective on this matter?
Okay, thank you very much. Two things. One is that first is that no Nigerian, today we're talking about debt in Nigeria. No Nigerian governor ever that I know, maybe there is, that have been able to save $1. $1. Nigeria itself, you heard what the international financial institutions have said about our reserve. That our reserve doesn't even exist. And we're owing $47 billion today. So I want us to start from that premises. And there was no law that compelled Peter Obi to save. No law. In fact, if you go and read my 3 points why I was impeached within 6 months of being in government, it was about all the things I'm talking today. And it is important that I always repeat it for people to know. I was impeached for 3 items and thrown out of office. Item number 1 was my own office. There's an approved budget when I won the case in court against Dr. Chris Ngige to become governor. There was an approved budget to refurbish my office at the cost of 298 million. I did everything with 43,200,000. That was item number 1, why I was impeached. Item number 2 was, again, rebuilding, refurbishing of the governor's lodge. These 2 office and lodge were burnt because there was an issue, disagreement between Dr. Chris Ngige and some other groups. And they burned these 2 offices. So there was no governor's office, there was no governor's lodge there. I became governor. So, but there was a budgetary, approved budget to renovate, to renovate the office and the lodge. That of the lodge was 486 million. 486 million. I did everything with 81 million. That was number 2 item why I was impeached. Number 3 item was that because I was saving money. I had gone to the House of Assembly and said, there's no way we'll consume whatever we get from statutory allocation. That this money being given to us comes from a diminishing asset called oil. And it is meant, this money is not meant for us, it's also meant for future generation. So we should save some. So it is imperative that we save 5 to 10% of everything we were able to receive. And I can say that the day I left office, all money that I received, state, local government, and everything, was about 600, about between 550, 600 billion naira. And that I was able to save between 10 to 15% of this the day I left office. And as at that day, I was not owing salary, pension, gratuity, any contract that had been executed, any supply that had been delivered, I was not owing any. Not in salary, I have 2 months' salary kept for the incoming governor. I decided to invest Anambra State money, this saving, in 3 areas: Naira, cash, dollar, and investment. So if you see where I said I left 75 billion naira, which was the equivalent of $500 million then, you see there's a 25 billion naira, there's $150 million, because as at that time, dollar was about 150, and there's 25 billion invested in different assets. For the naira component, which was where your question is, for the dollar component, which was where your question is, in the dollar component, we bought bonds. The bonds are specified with interest. For example, all of them was not invested in Fidelity Bank. And by the way, I do not own Fidelity Bank. Fidelity Bank is owned by, they have a total of 500 and something thousand shareholders. Because I passed through Fidelity Bank, owned their shares and was chairman, everybody said, it's your bank. No individual owns bank. So other people are involved. No bank in Nigeria that I know, maybe I'm wrong, that one single individual own more than 20%. Maybe there is. So I do not own Fidelity Bank. But that is by the way, that's a story for another day. I did not invest this money, $150 million, in Fidelity Bank. Access Bank of Nigeria, I invested about $50 million. And they're all in bonds. Those bonds, their yield were clearly indicated. Nobody, not me, not anybody, can benefit from those bonds because their yield are clearly indicated. The next bank is Diamond Bank. Diamond Bank, again, the yield is indicated. It's about 7% or so. It's clear. It's documented. If you want, give me your details. I'll fax you the documents. You will see the yield are there. So it's not something, it's an open thing. Number 3 is Fidelity Bank. Again, in each of these is $50 million. And we have a law backing it, calling it Future Generation Fund. If those monies were kept today untouched, without adding 1 kobo, without adding $1 more, it would have been now about 270, call it between 270, 290, even up to $300,000. Imagine if Anambra State today had $300,000 million. Imagine if they have today $280 to $300 million at almost 1,200 per dollar. They will be sitting on 360-something billion naira. No other state has such. The idea was that we were saving money. I recall listening and reading with joy that Soludo signed with Afrexim Bank for them to support Anambra State, which is going to be a loan with $200 million. I recorded it with joy. And I asked myself, imagine if they didn't touch the one I saved, and it's about $300 million now, and Anambra is able to get additional $200 million, combine it, it'll be $500 million, because our target is that if they continue to save at the rate we were saving, by year 2030, Anambra would have had about $1 billion. And I will use 50% of it to support SMEs and unleash SMEs drive for exports. That's what happened, whether from China to Indonesia to Vietnam. It was a clear study when we started saving it, and we know where we're going. But that is the story for another day. So, my dear, I did not in any way benefit from it. I saved the money, and let me tell you what I usually tell people. When they were accusing me of that I saved the dollar and took the interest, and I said to them, I wish every leader in Nigeria since 1960 actually saved the capital and took the interest. The amount of money we would have had today, we wouldn't know what to do with it. Nigeria would have been sitting on trillions of dollars if people had actually taken the interest and saved the. But Nigeria is a place that, because it's a criminalized entity, when you do what other people are not doing, what they will be doing every day is to make sure that even that good you did is rubbish. Why will you do it? So instead of celebrating the fact that Peter Obi did not borrow money, Peter Obi did not do this, remember, they now tell you, oh, he didn't do anything. But I said, but I was number one in MDG. I was number one in education. I won Bill Gates Prize in health. I was number one in this. I was this and everything. So look at what we were doing. I won certificate for building the best rural roads, which improved farmers to bring this in. And if you come to the same Anambra State, you will see it and ask the people, they will tell you. Which is why in an election like it was last time, I can get 96%. Go to every school now, they will tell you wherever I pass. I was in a school in Imo State just on Thursday morning. The principal of that school told me, he said, I was in Mercy Girls in Umoji when you visited us and gave us bus. And told the people that I visited their school at least 3 times. Mercy Girls was not a public school. It was a school owned by the Reverend Sisters. Yes, he said I visited 3 times and gave them bus and computer. That's what I was doing in every school. But they will tell you, oh, Peter Obi did this. Oh, Peter Obi. But that money that I saved is there. Who else did so? Nobody. But they will gang up and say, oh, he profited in it. He invested it in brewery. In brewery, let me clarify it to you. The brewery today is owned by the biggest, the world biggest brewer. They own about 90-something% of the brewery. The entire entity put in Nigeria, which includes Rivers State government, Anambra State government, I think Osun State, don't even own up to, put together, don't even own up to 6%. So how could it have been my brewery? So when people talk, because we're busy attracting this, we had as a policy when I was in government, anybody that wants to come to Anambra State, any foreign entity, we will take 10% of his company as investment to support them, we will help them to build road to their facility. Today, that facility, in terms of tax, is number one in Anambra State. Nobody's talking about it. Nobody's talking about those who are doing distribution, those who are making a living from it. It is to say, oh, it belongs to Peter Obi. I can tell you, you can go and verify if in any way in the past, I left office 2014. Let me say, in the past 5 years, maybe when I was this is but from 2019, 18, 21, 22, 23, where there's any way that bill will pay people to be 1 naira. 2019, 22, 2020, so you can go on and see it. So the people will say, oh, Peter Obi did this, Peter Obi did that. Because they is a gang up of criminals. How do we stop this one person who is trying to preach and do the right thing? And that's why I'm asking people to stay on. We can solve this problem. We can make these people place better. So I did not benefit from the dollar investment. I didn't take the interest. I left it for future generation. That was why I needed to explain this to you. Because it would be as if everybody saved and my own was different. No, nobody saved $1. So it should be celebrated that how can this man save $150 million? And my state was not one of the big states that were receiving this thing. We were the least in terms of receipts. States that receive more. Imagine what it would have been if the 36 states were able to keep the dollars that are kept, and today is 300 times 36. It would have been over $10 billion, and the states are not owing. Imagine what the country would have been today.
Okay.
You know? And like I keep saying, nobody, no human being, no thief sees what he can steal and leave it. No thief, not even in church. That's why if you go to church, even in Nigeria, they say, mind your phone, mind your bag. Because they know that even if the thief is in church, he will steal it. This is the money I can take and go away. But I left it. I left billions of naira and dollars. That dollar would have collected it, even if people start chasing me for it. If I spent 10% of it, I would have settled those people and kept 135. Even when I was going, they wanted to pass a law for me to take 10% of it. I told them it's public money. It should be left there. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Your Excellency, for that response. I remember pre-elections, I had a Twitter space where I invited Commissioner of Finance who worked with you, Eze HAC, and he came and spoke extensively on this and also presented some documents to attest to most of these things you said here today. Thank you very much, sir. So real quick, I'll pass the mic over to Arewachik for her question.
Thank you very much, Ms. Prowse. All right. Right now in Nigeria, we tend to have something very worrisome happening, and we can't but be left. We are kind of worried knowing that we have major corporations like GSK, Procter and Gamble, and Unilever. They've exited Nigeria. What are your thoughts on these developments, sir? Thank you.
Well, thank you very much. I've said it before that we must move from consumption to production. And that means you have to support businesses. Businesses thrive in a conducive, business-friendly environment. Businesses thrive in a conducive environment. Businesses thrive where there is disposable income, so people can buy their goods. My sister, 15 years ago, P&G, in their global body, took Nigeria as a country of strategic importance and built a world-class distribution facility in Abara. And for them to abandon it today takes a lot, because things have collapsed. When I answered about who was the person I was comparing 2009 till date, it was very simple. In 2009, 2008, when they took this, they saw a country that was growing at 6-7%. They saw a country where things were getting stronger and better. Our debts were low. There were disposable income. The people who were able to buy items today from studies. I even read one for less than 2 million Nigerians can afford to purchase items of $10 every day. A country of 200 million people, only 1% can spend that amount. You saw, it's not only them, you saw a lot of companies, leaving. ShopRite left Nigeria, and their profit increased. And they will tell you they're very happy that they left, because they saw demand going down. Only few Nigerians now have disposable income to be able to buy anything, because there's no living wage, there's no productivity, that is creating more labor, so more people can have. So all this is what we need to look at. How do we start turning around the economy by making it more productive? You have to invest in security aggressively to be able to drive away hoodlums and bring back your farmers who will help to tackle food inflation, create more jobs. You need to support manufacturing activities by having policies that favor them and everything. You need to support export aggressively to be able to get more foreign exchange, stabilize your currency, have enough currency to be able to get manufacturers to get inputs, support the local manufacturers of inputs. So there's a lot that needs to, when I said you prioritize what you're going to do, we did that side, the companies. It is not going around trying to attract foreign investor. Nobody goes around to attract foreign investor. Foreign investor is like honey and bee. If you put honey, the bee will come. You don't need to look for the bee. The bee is looking for where there's honey. That's how foreign investor work. If you start doing the right things, in those days they were coming, nobody was looking for them. They were coming. They do not get them from where? From seminars. Seminars is good. But most importantly, is to be able to show foreign investors stay where there's rule of law. Is your biggest intangible asset. They don't stay where there's no rule of law. They don't stay where things are done rascally. They follow rule of law. It's an intangible asset that is driving those Western world you think people are going to. Those places people are going to. Where there's respect, where there's law and order, where there's security. If you look at what is happening in our country today, from elections to the law courts to everything is rascally. And nobody stays when he sees things in such circumstance or environment, because you don't know how it is going to affect you. That is what you're seeing. And it will continue. Even local companies are collapsing.
Okay, thank you very much, Your Excellency. So, on to the next question now. But before I go ahead, I would like to appeal again. Let's do well to keep retweeting this space. Thank you very much. Your Excellency, you said we are now the opposition. That's very interesting, but how does this really feel? And how can people from different areas, like the villages, rural areas, and people from the cities, how can they effectively play this part of being an opposition? Thank you.
Well, I think that's what we're doing now by interacting, by trying to bring on. I'm taking notes of things you're complaining and everything, taking notes of your questions, taking notes of things. And well, it is when it comes to when you say in terms of being in opposition, those who supported us, those who are from the village, we're like their representative. We are like their representative. It is meant for us to be able to say, this is wrong, this is right, this is wrong. Before now, nobody, not that people don't talk, but there's nobody who, after election, that is consistent saying things are wrong. We should do this right. And that is why it is difficult. You will see that more and more people will probably say, oh, well, we can't continue with this struggle. Because for them, it does not get them to anywhere where they have to do this. Our politics have been transnational. So by now, P2B would have been settled, and he would start saying, well, let's wait till next 4 years, and then start singing, even join them in going to COP in Dubai and saying everything is going well, they're doing the right things, the VP needs a house in Abuja. That's how it happens. There's never been a situation where people say, well, listen, we are going to stay in opposition. We are going to do the right things. We're going to ask the right questions. And again, for government, that is why everybody's saying, this man, we must shut him down. We must find out what he's doing. So every day is one harassment or the other. Like I told somebody yesterday, I said, listen, I was talking to somebody yesterday, I said, listen, do not be surprised that in coming weeks or months or anything, they will do anything rascally. They can even kill somebody, or they can even put you in a way where nobody will know where you are. But whatever happens, I'm in it, and I'll remain in it. And I'm sure that If anything happens to me, there will be so many other people who will take on and know that we must dismantle this criminality in order to move forward. What the villagers, we are their representative. It is left for us to do the right thing. It's left for us to do the right campaign, to say, these things you people are promising, these things you people are saying, where is he? You know, where are all the people who benefited from billions of money that were shared by previous government to SMEs, to transporters? After COVID, they told us they shared 10 billion, 20 billion to transporters. Where are the transporters who benefited? Can they come out and say they shared millions to SMEs, billions? Where are the SMEs? Where are all those farmers they gave money? Why will food not be cheaper today? These are issues we must, because whenever Peter say, where is this billions that we borrowed? People say, oh, they put it here, they put it here. Where is it? So we need to ask that question. As they're borrowing more, the only thing in here today is borrow, borrow, borrow. Nobody is asking, this money we're borrowing, what is it going, what are we using it for? What is it impacting? So we are the opposition, and we must do what is right to ensure that we continue.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency, for that wonderful response. So, real quick, I'll pass the mic over to Mrs. Bolanley for her question.
Your Excellency, I hope you're doing okay. And we're not bombarding you with questions.
No, I'm fine. I'm fine. That's what we need to do from time to time. And I think the women are now tougher than the men.
Okay, sir. Right. So my question is this. During the Senate President's birthday colloquium, right, he said that there was no way you could have won Lagos or Ebonyi State if not by rigging. Your Excellency, what are your thoughts on this? Thank you.
You know, I don't like joining issues with people. You know, and you know, the Senate President is an uncommon Senate President. Everything about him is uncommon. So I like doing things with common people, not uncommon people, because I'm not one of that. Because it shouldn't even be talking about birthday party in a country like this today. You saw what I put up an advert during my birthday that people should not come for anything and should not do drinks and do anything. Instead, whatever they have, they will give me or think about me. They should give it to the poor people around them. And that's what I've been doing. That's what I'm telling people. Even in this Christmas, I've told people I'm not celebrating Christmas. I'm not celebrating anything. And I didn't even buy cards. I'm going to send people WhatsApp message. Everything that I have to spend, I'm going to use it. I have about 6 nursing schools and hospitals that I intend to visit, because from my experience, I was in, listen, can you imagine that there's a bomb in Nigeria that killed over 80 people and several others injured, and they're in hospital. They're in hospital. That is less than 2 hours drive from Abuja. And we're celebrating. And nobody has visited those people. No senior member of government has been there. Nothing. If it happens in any other country, because of the circumstances, from the president, vice to top to Senate president, they will visit there. They will show remorse. It calls for not celebrating. I didn't go out yesterday because I lost somebody I consider a well-meaning Nigerian patriot, Ezife. And that's how it should be. We have students from Akwa Ibom, where the Senate president is, who are still held in captivity because they were going to do youth service. And they're kidnapped. Their parents are still looking for their children. They're still crying. And we're celebrating. But like I said, my brother Babio is an uncommon person. And when a common person talks, common people keep quiet. I'm a common person. I respect his office. I respect him. I wish him well. You know I won the election, not just in Lagos and Ebony. I won the election in Nigeria. If not because, again, it's an uncommon place. It's an uncommon country. And that's what you get. Uncommon people are there because they did uncommon things. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Your Excellency, for your responses. So right now, I'm going to pass the mic over to Gloria for her question.
Okay. Arewachik, have you gone yet? Let me just make sure I don't skip over you. Or maybe I. Okay.
No,
Okay.
I haven't.
Okay. Okay. Can she go first, and then I'll come after?
Sure, Arewachik, please go ahead.
Thank you.
All right, thank you, Ms. Pearls. All right, this question was asked by someone, and the question says the Labour Party lawmakers have faced some
I'm not hearing you very well.
Okay, the Labour Party lawmakers have faced some criticism from people who feel that they could represent the obedient vision better. What are your thoughts on this?
Well, let me be honest with you. I've tried to bring this to their attention myself and say, these are what people think you should be doing. I, Peter, have done that. And I'm sure with time they will improve. You know, let us not think somebody like those who were close to me when we were campaigning will always hear me say this. And I urge all of you, if as we're campaigning, as we're struggling today, if tomorrow we're lucky in the sense that God wants us to change the system, please don't think that when I go in there, you walk away and I'm going to do the magic. All of you will stay back and challenge and keep reminding me of this what we are saying today. It is by that will go a long way. The things that I always say achieved in Anambra State was possible because I had commissioners who were gadflies. I had women who were gadflies who always say, Peter, you said this. Even when I'm pushing to do it, they gave me the energy, the support to do it. So it is important. So we are on the gadfly trying to remind them, you label this, you label that, and everything. It is difficult. Maybe if I was there and quarreling with everybody, I'll get more supporters and they will be able to do more. But today, well, I would say we'll just keep pushing them and saying, this is what people expect from you. This is what people expect from you. Hoping that it will be okay. but I share what people are talking. I listen to it. I communicate it to them. People are saying it openly. Mine is to keep reminding them that this is not what it is all about. This is not what we promise the people. They expected a change. And I think they're beginning to realize there's need to do things differently.
Okay, thank you very much, Your Excellency, for that response. So, real quick, I'll pass the mic over to Gloria.
Thank you. I'm not hearing anything again.
Can you hear us now?
Yes, sir.
Okay, perfect. All right, so I just want to quickly address the room. Guys, please drop an emoji if you have retweeted this space. I'm looking at you. If you haven't retweeted this space, if I don't see an emoji on your name, I'm judging. Okay. Let me be nice. Please help us spread the word. We actually want this impact to go as far as possible. Okay, and please don't forget the hashtags. If you want to ask a question, now we'll be going into that shortly. The hashtag is AskPO a question, and you can also help us trend the hashtag Peter Obi on Parallel Facts. Again, that's Peter Obi on Parallel Facts. That's Parallel Facts with an S. Okay, so Your Excellency, I think I have a not so tough question, even though so far, I mean, I can tell there's no question too big for you to handle. But I want to ask you, sir, about the obedient movement. Now, some have said that the obedient movement did not just start. In fact, they will tell you that the NSARS movement, for instance, morphed into what we now know as the obedient movement. So it appears that the NSARS movement got reignited with your decision to run for presidency. Your Excellency, did you expect the obedient movement to take the form that it has taken? And also, just out of curiosity, is there anything that you would have done differently or you will do differently going forward?
Well, quite frankly, let me first thank the movement. I remain very, very grateful for what they're doing. You need to urge them to stay together. Do not see this as Peter, you're doing it for Peter Obi. No, you're doing it for yourselves. Peter Obi is just one figure who will happen to probably represent not in full what you wanted, but near it. So, since it's at the forefront of it, let's continue. And I assure you, I will never let you down. You never find me wanting. There's going to be, like I said in quotes, they're going to come out with all sorts of things to try to say this man is not who you thought he was. They're going to do also blackmail, even throw me into jail if they want to. They're going to do these else of things. But know that I've never knowingly done anything wrong. They've investigated anything during my campaign. I've said it. Assigned lands everywhere. Go. Nobody who has been governor will say he never had one piece of land, directly or indirectly, from any government. Nobody could say it. I did not have one in Anambra State. Go in the entire Oka. If you see land belonging to Peter Obi, confiscate it. Nobody will tell you I have a law passed for pension and gratuity. I refuse to sign it. If I had signed it today, I would have had a beautiful house in Lagos, Abuja, and Oka. Since I left office, Anambra have not bought me a sachet of pure water. I'm not regretting all that. But they're going to come out with all sorts of things like they're telling you now, he saved dollar, benefited from it, when nobody actually saved $1. And I saved $150 million. When nobody saved $1. And I saved $150 million. Which in any other country, that would have given me the highest title available. If there's all highest award, it would have been a celebrated case. But it's not here. So they're going to do that. For me, it is about, let us join hands, my dear people, and save this country for benefit of all of us. A billion movement where what I can call, like you said, it was from the answers, it was from the people in the villages and everything. Because if you look at it, you won't say that all those who voted for us, in some states we had 80-something%, all those people in Edo, Delta, Anambra, and Imo, all this, we are not Nasarawa, Plateau, all this, we are not Benue, we are not NSAS people. However, they all are people looking for a better space, a better thing. Jos, I grew up seeing Jos as a place where everybody wants to go to. I recall then when I was in the banking industry, as chairman, we're going to say, everybody say, let's go to retreat in Jos. I was telling people when I was in Kaduna 2 few days ago to see the people affected by the bomb. I showed somebody where I stayed in Kaduna for 2 weeks. Now before, for me as a trader, I booked a year to come to Kaduna Trade Fair. A year, I book hotel a year ahead of time to be able to attend Kaduna Trade Fair. I go to Kanu. I tell people that I used to come, stay 1 week, 2 weeks in Kanu because I have to do business. All the factories were in Bompai, Sharadan 1, Sharadan 2. I have to stay there. The businesses were going. I used to travel. Nigerian Airways was going Lagos, Kanu, London. London, Kanu, Lagos. That I used to arrive Kanu 4 a.m. in the morning from London, start meeting by 9 till 6 in the evening, go back to Lagos with the same Nigerian Airways. I used to come, stay in Kanu 3 days, from there to London and back. These things were all gone. Travel from Kanu with Nigerian Airways to Enugu, all these things. So all these is things we have looked at and said, how did we get here? Can we change it for our own children? Can we change it? It can. Those things are still there. It will take time. And whenever I see government upon government, I see they are not sacrificing towards that change as it's happened in other climes. So, the obedient movement, I urge you, stay together, whatever form it is. For me, we will continue going forward. Maybe my little bit of understanding of, so where they are coming from, whatever it is, my plea is that let's continue to remain together, to not look at yourself where they're going to tell you, oh, you're from here, or you're from there, or you're from this religion or that. They're now trying to do everything to divide us, or telling you, oh, this man you're following is not who you think he is. He's a fake man. I've had even recent article that says, I married a foreigner before, that this my wife is not the first wife I married, that I ran away from UK because, so you have going to get all sorts of things. And who knows what anything they can do, they will do. They've started by duplicating my identity, duplicating this and that. So mine is to urge you, let's remain the family we are.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency. We are going to have one more question from Gloria from the audience on the timeline.
Thank you.
After which we will
No, I think
open
I
the
lost you.
Your Excellency, can you hear
Hello?
me?
Can you hear us, sir?
Hello? Okay.
Okay.
Okay. So, Your Excellency, we are going to take one more question from Gloria from the timeline, after which we'll open the floor
Hello?
for the audience.
I think he's not able to hear Miss Pearls. Your Excellency, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay, I think there's a connectivity thing, but I have a question from somebody in the audience. At Daniel, oh gosh, I don't want to mispronounce your name, but at D Benewe, D Benewe, sorry about that. He says, hashtag ask PO a question. After the mistaken bombing of over 120 Kaduna citizens by the military, the Minister of State for Health said it was an act of God. Do you think these comments were well founded?
Well, I don't think so. I don't believe in that. It's good to say it was a mistake that you can admit, but I don't believe in act of God. You can't go and kill people and say it's act of God. That is not the way to go. For me, I was there, like I said, these things do happen. But like I said when I visited them, it has happened 16 times since, I think, 2009 or 2010. It has happened about 16 times, and nearly 500 lives are lost by this mistaken bombing or shooting. It's quite many. I remain grateful for the immeasurable work our military is doing in a very difficult circumstance, because all of you read where the chief of defense staff said that their allocations, budgetary allocations, are not released to them, all of it, and are not even released as and when due, which is one of the things that I question. Should we be talking about issue of buying vehicles for legislators, buying vehicles for people when there's vehicles before which they can use? Because I don't think those who left office carried all the vehicles. Because like when I asked the Labour Party legislators about the vehicles they bought, they say it's for official. And I'm sure the last people bought, it was official. But when they left with the official vehicle. So are we going to be releasing money for people to go to court, or releasing money for security? These are issues that are said about prioritization of what we do as a country. So for me, yes, it's happened, and but we can't just say it's an act of God. May God forgive their sins. May God console the families that lost loved ones. May God give us the fortitude to go through it, but do more to ensure that such things are reduced, and also show that something had gone wrong. That's why I said we should all, leave politics aside, be able to visit them, be able to console the families. I saw so many young ones who were orphaned. Their parents have gone. One of them that I was carrying was saying that his mother went to buy something, but the mother and the father is gone. What are we doing to make sure that these children are able to live a better life, go to school and everything? That's what should be worrying us. But I can tell you, even for me to go there was very difficult. People didn't want to receive you. People didn't want to see you because they don't know what, because these are part of things that something today. You see somebody you know on the road, you're greeting the person, he doesn't want to greet you. They don't want to see you because they don't want to offend those who are in power, who are not sharing the, believe the goodies. So why? No, we don't know Peter. The man is on his own. The man doesn't listen. The man doesn't do. So these are things that goes on. So it's for us to come together and do the right things.
Okay, thank you very much, Your Excellency. I don't know if you can hear me now. Can you hear me now, sir?
Thank you.
Okay, right. So at this point, we'll open the floor for questions from
Hello.
the audience. Can you hear me, Your Excellency? Can you hear me, sir?
Hello.
Okay, I think we're still having a bit of connectivity issues.
Okay.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
maybe
So
I'll be the translator for Miss Pearls. Miss Pearls, you can go ahead. Miss Pearls. Okay. So we can. Okay, so we're about to bring up speakers. Miss Pearls, are you able to?
Yes, Gloria,
Can you
can you
hear
hear
me?
me? Can you hear me, Gloria?
Yes, I can hear you perfectly.
Beautiful. So right now we'll open the floor for questions from the audience. For the purpose of time, we're gonna give just 1 minute each to everyone to either ask a question or make a
I'm
comment.
not hearing anybody.
Okay, so what Miss Pearls is doing right now, Your Excellency, is she's introducing speakers. So I think there's a connectivity issue where you're unable to hear her, but we'll get that resolved shortly, sir. But right now, what
Okay.
she's doing is bringing up speakers, and I'll let you know what we're doing next.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Gloria. So, guys, we're going to be passing the mic around now to the audience to ask their questions or make a comment. If you want to do either of both, you can, but ensure you do that in just 1 minute. And for gender balance, we're going to pass the mic around one lady, one guy to ensure equality here. So, moving on real quick, let me start with Johnson. Hi, Johnson. How you doing?
Hello, Pearl. I'm actually doing well.
Please go ahead and ask your question or comment.
Okay, thank you so much, and Your Excellency Peter Obi. It's good to hear from you. I think this is the second time I've actually attended this space with you. So my question is going to be real quickly because a lot of us in Nigeria watching the judiciary system. Like, to be very frankly, a lot of us have actually lost hope with the Nigerian judiciary. So I'm just trying to get your thoughts on how you think we can be able to reform the Nigerian judiciary in such a way whereby the presidency will not be controlling the other arm of government because they are supposed to be independent. But we can see what is actually currently going on is actually the opposite of it. So what are your thoughts on how the judiciary in Nigeria could actually be independent? Thank you.
Did you get that, Your Excellency?
No, I didn't.
Oh, okay. So Johnson Agiriga is asking about Nigerians losing hope with the Nigerian judiciary. Johnson, did I get everything you wanted to ask? Is there any part I'm missing?
Yes, you got that correctly.
Okay. And okay, so that was the question, and how they should navigate that going forward, correct?
Yes, how?
Well, um, it is not just losing hope in Nigerians losing hope in judiciary. I answered it before. It is it is not just Nigerians, even those around. Everybody's losing hope, and you know, it is it is something that is extremely worrisome. You can have a bad leader. You can have a bad legislator. But to have a bad judge or a bad judiciary is actually an existential threat, because it is the fundamental that holds check of the other two. So what we are going now, which is what I was saying, that it is a huge existential threat that you're seeing foreign entities leave. Nobody stays in a country where there's no law and order, where there's no law. The biggest contributor to GDP of the Western world is intangible assets called rule of law. And wherever you don't see it, people leave. But all I'm telling people is that these are the things we want to change. That is why, when we're talking about the new Nigeria, it is not a new Nigeria where you will only have move from consumption to production. That production has to come with the rules of law that will endure, that will make people to be sure that if anything goes wrong, I can go to court, I can go to the police, I can go to this, and it will be set right. But now, because of the gangsterism, everything is being turned upside down. People who are today debtors are the ones who are setting the rules how to manage our financial system that looks after debt. So these are things, so it's all upside down. Until we have this new setup, you have to start virtually dealing with every issue, including the judiciary, because it's shown that it's collapsed too. Thank
Thank you
you.
so much. Thank you so much, Your Excellency. And we'll take another speaker now. Miss Pearls, are you with us?
Yes, I'm here. Thank you, Gloria.
Okay.
So let's take
Mhm.
So. Hi, So. How you doing?
I'm very well, thank you. Good evening, everyone. I'm just wondering if I'm audible. I just need to confirm that. Mr. Peter Obi, can you hear me okay? Can you guys hear me okay?
Okay. Pio, can you hear Soul?
No, I'm not hearing.
Okay. So I'll
Okay,
trans. I'll
okay. No,
interpret for you in the meantime.
no problem.
Thank you.
I'll make it short. My question is, he has been very, very consistent with the message of a new Nigeria being possible, and majority of us who buy into that narrative would like to know how we all fit into this message and how we ought to approach this reality in order to bring it into fruition. So, from his point of view, if he can address that from a nation building point of view, the tenets of a new Nigeria being possible. That's my question for Mr. Peter Obi,
Soul, I am so sorry. I hate for you to repeat yourself. Could you please help me repeat that?
because he has been very consistent with that message.
Thank you so much, Your Excellency. At Soul underscore TFD is talking about your slogan, "A new Nigeria is possible." We all, it's something we love to share, and he wants to know your stand on this, that a new Nigeria is possible.
Well, I still say it, the new Nigeria is possible if we all work hard and we're able to again ensure that we have a change of leadership that continues to build on all the things we've been saying and preaching, it one requires one committed leader on the top. We are working with a team that believes in the same thing. It will change. And I've always tell people, we've experimented it somewhere. How could the Anambra State that had its schools closed in 2000 and 2001, by 2007-8, be number one in education? So for me, we can get it right if we do the right things. But it requires a leadership that has a clear vision, that is competent, that have the capacity, the character, everything that is required to do the right things.
Thank you so much, Your Excellency. Ms. Pearls, who do we have next, please?
Okay, thank you, Gloria. Let's move on to Tosin. Hi, Tosin.
Hi, Miss Pels. Good afternoon. Hopefully, you can hear me clearly.
Yes, please go ahead, Tosin.
Thank you very much for allowing me. My president, His Excellency Mr. Peter Gregory Obi. Thank you
Sorry,
very much for all.
my apologies, Tosin. Before you proceed,
Hello?
let's confirm if His Excellency can hear you.
Hello?
Okay, Your Excellency, can you hear Tosin or Ms. Pearls?
No.
Oh, okay.
Do I leave and come back again? Will it make the difference?
Should we try that? We just don't want to lose you, sir.
Okay, let me stay on.
Oh, but
Okay.
I mean, if you can leave and well, let me see if Sir Dam. Sorry to put you on the spot. Should we? What would you recommend we do? Because we really want to make sure he's hearing everyone and Miss Pearls. Okay. Okay. Anyway, let me Tosin, go ahead and I'll just note your question. Okay,
Okay.
I'm getting feedback that we shouldn't let you leave. So sorry, I'll just keep interpreting for you, sir.
Okay, no
Okay.
problem, fine.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you very much. So I mean, it's just to appreciate you for all that you've done. Thank you so much. But also, my question will be in the line of the new Nigeria possible. Now, with the criminality in power, do you think that we can actually do this by the easy approach, or do you think force is necessary to chase these guys out of power so that we can get what we want for our country?
Hello?
Okay. Yes, sir. We're here.
Okay.
Okay. So at T4 Integrity, first of all, appreciating you, and he also wants to know, with the state of or the style of governance that we have presently in Nigeria, what how do you think the youth, I'm trying to paraphrase this as best as I can, how do you think the youth can navigate, believing in a new Nigeria is possible, taking back Nigeria? What happens to the youth here?
Well, the youth, like I said, we will continue our movement and the system we have started. We know that what is happening today is not taking us to anywhere. Things are getting worse. This is not just PO now saying, you've read the World Bank report recently, people are getting poorer. It is not me who asked JSK to leave, or PNG to leave, or Aventis to leave. So it is, they are seeing things going wrong. So it's no longer, I always said this story that I had an uncle who was handcuffed in the village I say it every day. And people were asking him, is anything wrong? He said, nothing is wrong. When I asked him, uncle, everybody saw you, you were handcuffed and you said nothing is wrong. He said that they saw the handcuff in his hand and they asked him whether things are wrong. So everybody can now see the handcuff on the hand of Nigeria. So it's no longer Peter will be preaching and saying it's wrong. I live in Onitsha, Lagos, Abuja. I traveled to Kaduna the other day. And wherever I go, one thing I do is to stop in the local market. I stop to buy tom-tom. I ask the man who is selling tom-tom, how is business? He said things are very bad. That they can't even sell tom-tom. Now they used to get 2 packets in one day, it will finish. Now they can't even sell tom-tom. So things are bad. So the only way the youth can is that if we join, continue, we will be able to deal with this. Some of them are students in school. How are they faring? What is happening to their schools? They've been promised, they were promised even loan. How many of them have received it? How many of them have received it? So these are things that should worry them. You know? So that's the thing. So the most important thing for the youth is for us to stay on together and saying, yes, they're not going to come, give some of us money, do this, because that's what has happened over the years. Over the years that, they will do youth association, they will take their head people, give them money tomorrow. Because of it now, most of our youth, you have a lot of youth groups now, because by the time they finish using you, they'll drop you, then you have no alternative than to form your own group. Form your own group. So if you go now, there's so many youth groups, there's so many groups, because the people they've used to dump, you start finding relevance in one thing or the other. And politics, people are now, the only business that thrives in Nigeria now is politics. It shouldn't be. Should be other areas of endeavor. So the youth, there's a lot of sacrifice you need.
We really appreciate that answer. Thank you so much, Your Excellency. Thank you at Maya Hees for drawing something to my attention. At Soul_TFD, your question was also centering around before we can get good leadership, what are the responsibilities and roles that citizens need to play in order to actualize the new Nigeria? And I think Pio has spoken along those lines. So thank you so much for that. Pio, we need you so much. The people want to speak with you directly. Do you mind stepping out and coming back in, please, sir? Sorry for the inconvenience.
I should go out and come back?
Yes, please, sir. Just go out and
Yeah,
request the mic again. Thank you. We'll be on the lookout.
no problem. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Over to you, Miss Pearls.
Thank you very much, Gloria. So while we wait for people to leave and return,
Okay, I think we
yeah,
have some. Okay, can you hear us, Miss Pearls?
yes, I can. Can you hear me now,
Perfect.
Gloria?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, so while we wait for PO to leave and return, I'd like to make a kind request to everyone here. We have tons and tons of people requesting for the mic, but it's mostly guys. I'd like to request for the ladies I'd like to appeal to the ladies rather to request for the mic and come up here. Don't be shy, don't be scared. It's an open space for everyone to come share their thoughts and ask their questions. We have one lady on stage already, but we want more ladies on stage. So please do well to request for the mic and join the conversation here. And my apologies if I'm not able to respond to the end right now. I have tons of them as well. I'm trying to coordinate here and another platform. So please bear with me. So we will wait for PO to come
I'm
back.
back.
Okay, he's back already. Your Excellency, can you hear me now?
I can very well.
Perfect. Thank you very much, sir. So real quick, I'll pass the mic over to Mary. Mary White, how you doing?
Hi, Pearls. Hi, Your Excellency, sir. Hi, Power of Facts. Hi, everyone.
Thank you very much.
Excellency, hi, so it's good to see you, to talk to you again on Power of Facts. Thanks. So my question is, I know you have encouraged us to be opposition. Can you hear me, sir?
Yes, I can very well.
Okay, so you have encouraged us to be the opposition. So my question is, what is your stand for, I guess, the obedient movement and also the Labour Party forming a formidable opposition with other political parties? Thank you, sir.
Well, like I've always said, I'm not desperate to be president of Nigeria. I'm desperate to see Nigeria work. So if we have other people who can collaborate to achieve that, why not? But we must be sure that they believe in what we are fighting for. It is not be a collaboration, an association that will end up in transaction. Because that's what you see in Nigeria. People say to you, let's work together, let's form this together, only to see that it's the same forming together to go and start doing the same thing that we are all fighting against. If it is genuine for us to collaborate, I think the parties, the opposition parties should come together. But they will have to come together where we are